What is up, guys, and welcome to the very first episode of my F1 2021 career mode journey. Today we are going to be creating our own F1 team to become the 11th team on the grid, and our aim is to be the first owner driver since Sir Jack Brabham, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I would love to follow a fellow Australian's footsteps. So as I said, to become the first owner driver to win not just the drivers but also the Constructors' Championship. I would love to follow in our fellow Australians' footsteps. As you can see, going through all the settings now, I'm actually not the fastest F1 driver in the world, and I do have to have some assists because I just prefer it, but I do turn some of the assists off. Yeah, so this is going to be a really exciting journey. I can't wait to take you guys with it.
Welcome to my team. Here you'll experience the world of Formula One, not only as a driver, but as the owner of a brand new F1 team. First things first, let's create your driver.
Okay, so this is where we now create our character. Bear in mind that none of these characters look exactly like me, apart from this guy right here. I generally think that this guy is the closest to me. We are from Australia. Bear in mind that there is another Cadell in the world. It's not just me, but the other one only has one L, where I have two L's. There is a bit of a story on why I have two L's, but I won't be telling you guys through that. Gro is my surname, G-R-O as the three-figure name, and unfortunately they do not have something like a Cadell or a Gro is my surname in here as an audio, so that's a bit unfortunate. But because I am the owner of this team, or the boss, I've decided to go with either Captain or Skip. And I've actually decided to go for Skip. Now the driver numbers, I actually had a few in mind. 34, 56 or 88. As you can see, we've gone for the number 88. Yeah, so 88 is the number we are going to be running with. Now the suits will be an indication of what the livery will look like. So we're going to be running with a yellow and black kind of livery because Renault is not well replaced by Alpine, or the same team. They're just different sponsors. But yeah, I'd like to see some yellow back in the category, especially if we can see on the map. I sometimes at the start of the game's life cycle, I sort of struggled a little bit with, you know, who is what, and you know, on my Xbox. But this is actually, you know, my first race weekend on the new PC, which I've actually already done, and I'm actually in the middle of doing Spain right now. Okay, so unfortunately there's only certain liveries, suits, gloves, helmets, character poses, podium emotes, and the victory radio call. Unfortunately, not much to choose from.
Great, now let's set up some of the key details of your new team. We'll start with an easy one. What name would you like to give the team?
I'll get back to that in just a moment, but our team name is going to be CG Motorsport, CG being my initials and Motorsport at the end.
Nice! Now, some kind of income stream is critical, so we need to sign a primary sponsor. Our primary sponsor will pay a signing bonus to the team up front. This is vital to cover the early investments we need to make. They will also provide valuable weekly income for us. Each sponsor has a goal they want the team to achieve. If we hit that goal, the sponsor will pay us an additional goal bonus.
Okay, so this is where we make a serious decision. I've been looking through all of these, and I reckon Xeon Dynamics is something very achievable with some lucky races, good upgrades getting on the cars, 50 constructors. Very doable, I reckon.
Fantastic! Now we've got a budget to work with. Our car won't be going anywhere fast without a power unit. So, let's sign a power unit supplier now. We need both performance and durability from our power unit, but we also need to balance the books. We're going to have a lot of other areas to invest our cash into.
Right, choosing who is going to be in our car this year. I've actually gone with Honda, 90 performance, 89 durability. I reckon that's pretty reasonable. Shouldn't have too many dramas in our first year.
We almost have all the key partners for our team now, but we still need a teammate for you. These are the drivers available to be your first teammate. They all have their own strengths and weaknesses. so consider everything when deciding who to hire. Drivers earn acclaim based on their performances. When a driver earns enough acclaim, they will level up. The higher a driver's level, the more acclaim they will earn for their current team. And remember, the faster the team levels up, the faster our income will increase. The higher a driver's experience, the more resource points are earned to spend on vehicle upgrades. Racecraft is the driver's skill to effectively complete overtakes when opportunities arise. Awareness shows the driver's ability to avoid errors and incidents. Pace describes the driver's ability to set competitive lap times. Focus represents the driver's current form and state of mind. Rating is a summary of the driver's overall skill level.
Okay, so this is where we made probably the most serious decision to start our team. Picking our teammates. Not a lot of drivers we can choose from, but if I can give you guys one free bit of advice, if you have Dan Ticktum in as to be one of your first teammates, I'd recommend not having him. Seriously, I've been told by my man that he's not one to have. I'm not going to explain too much, but yeah, do not have him as your teammate because he probably won't do any favours. So I think for our first season, we're going to have Christian Lundgaard as our teammate.
Looks like we can afford this power unit supplier and teammate. Go ahead and confirm if you're happy.
Yes, I am very happy indeed. Time to do our livery, but I'm not going to show you guys the livery until we get to the car reveal. But one thing that I will reveal is while I was doing the livery, I was actually having a look at this particular livery. Now, the way I did, like this way, I was actually very satisfied with that. I was actually pretty impressed with that. But unfortunately, I wasn't able to get this livery because apparently this is one of these podium pass items. It's one of the daily items, and apparently I purchased this item too late. You only get 24 hours to purchase certain items. It depends on what you're looking for, and unfortunately I bought that item a little too late. Now moving on to our badge, I've decided to go with a spiral, blended in with the badge, and one looking like a C. Because in actual fact, that does look like a C, sort of, in its own way. So I actually like the look of that, having one blended in and then having one with the yellow. And you see me playing around with it. But now it's time to hand over to Will Buxton, who is waiting for us at our new HQ.
Hello folks, and welcome to this, a very special edition of Paddock Pass. As you can see, there's no pit lane behind me, and as you can hear, no roar of engines, and that's because they've set me free from the F1 paddock to escape here to the countryside and to the headquarters of Formula One's newest team. Now, it's not every day we get to pull back the curtain and look behind the scenes at an F1 team. Rarer still that we get to talk not only to the team owner, but also the team's lead driver. But what makes this place extra special is that the owner and lead driver are one and the same person. Now, it's been an interesting 12 months, and we all know a number of the regulation changes which were due to come into effect this year have been delayed until next. Some, though, are still seeing the light of day, amongst them the all-important budget cap, which gives some of the smaller teams a little further down the order, potentially, the opportunity to compete with the bigger teams. Good for them, but great for us as viewers. But what does our new team owner think about these new rules? Do they see them as a challenge, a hurdle that needs to be overcome? Perhaps they see them as an opportunity to disrupt the status quo, a chance to come out swinging and to carve their name into Formula One history. Well, I had the opportunity to ask them these very questions just earlier today, and here's what they had to say. Well, first of all, thanks so much for inviting us here today. It's been wonderful to see behind the scenes. As you might expect, I've got about 1 million questions, so let's jump straight in. It's been a long time since we last saw a team owner take their own car onto the track, and the sport's changed enormously in the intervening years. How are you going to handle the responsibilities of both managing and driving for a Formula One team?
Well, the last time I checked, an owner driver taking place on the F1 grid, not that long ago, in fact, me, on F1 2020. But of course, you guys didn't see that. But yeah, in real life, yeah, it has been a while since we've seen one. So, well, I'll let you off on that one.
Let's talk about your teammate. Now, it's clear they're excited to have signed with you, but tell me, what is it that you think they bring to the team?
I think just their, general pace. I reckon I see a lot of potential in Christian, and what he does in real life, especially, he's thereabouts in the race, and if he could bring that, to each weekend, bring the mindset and just the focus, then I reckon I see our relationship being long term. If he does what he does, stays out of trouble, and getting moves done cleanly, I reckon he's got a good future here at the team.
So you've obviously been putting a lot of work into the car. I know it's early days, but how do you expect it to feel out there?
With a brand new car and a brand new team, obviously you're going to run into problems somewhere, but I'm hoping that the car feels okay, but we'll find out when we run the car out for practice run. But that's what pre-season's for, getting all the data that you need, and especially when you go to a track that you've been testing at. So hopefully it's good.
Most of the other teams can boast years of experience in Formula One. Where do you see the opportunities to make those vital performance gains you need to put you within reach of the other cars?
Good question. So this is where we make the serious decisions here. The answers that we choose will go down towards the upgrade department. So I want to try and keep this balance and go for aero here.
Ultimately, your success this season is going to come down to whether you can take positions from the other drivers. What is it about your car that's going to give you that edge in those battles?
Yet another good question. Well, of course, we've got a whole season ahead of us, so there's plenty of opportunities to make some overtakes. But, of course, if we want to survive without taking too many penalties, then that would be a lot easier.
And finally, with so many specialist departments working together here at your headquarters, and with such an important deadline coming up, who's getting that coveted Teacher's Gold Star? Which group do you feel the most proud of right now?
The Teacher's Gold Star, eh? We haven't given much love to our chassis or powertrain department, but besides, we've got a few power tracks very early in the year, so let's give our power unit some love, eh?
Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been wonderful to get an insight from you and, of course, to see around the headquarters. Thank you for today. Really appreciate it. And thank you all at home for watching as well. We'll see you very soon.
And thank you very much, Will, for having us. So here we are at our HQ. We are finally here. A little bit different to F1 2020. As you can see in the background briefly, we have the big screen in the background just behind the car, which is underneath the tubs, whereas last year we had just the badge. So we are in charge of the team, but we are also in charge of the activity timeline. So we're doing it at the driver training camp, and I think it's a good idea, to get to know Christian a little bit, do a bit of team bonding together, and also get his driver statistics up. And I think that's a good thing, get his statistics up and really get that little extra boost at the start of the year. And I reckon that is a very good idea. Going around the rest of HQ, Pierre, our new R&D guy that has come into the team. Something a little interesting there. Maybe the cutscenes are all the same where we get to the weekend. No more R&D tree. Apparently there is only one department we can do at a time. And as you can see, we're actually not the worst car. We're actually above Alfa Romeo, Haas and Williams, which is very exciting. Or very excited to know that we are not the worst car. But now, it's time to go to the car reveal. It's nothing great, but I hope you like it. And there she is. The CG Motorsport 1.0 that is going to be running in Season 1. Now, like I said, it's not a special livery. In fact, it's one of the first liveries that is put in the game. But the more we do this game and the more racing that we do, there will be more liveries and other stuff to unlock. Now, see if we can do any last minute upgrades. I did not tell what we purchased, but we're in the race weekend proper now. And actually, guys, doing this, we had a bit of a hiccup. Yes, apparently... Hold on. What on earth is a D doing in between the R and the P? That's what I'm about to explain. Apparently, while doing this, unfortunately, I thought, or I swear, that I was filming practice. Apparently, that was not the case. No, unfortunately, we had a bit of a hiccup doing this. Apparently, I thought I was filming practice, but I wasn't. I'll explain why in a little while longer. But now we're in the race weekend proper. We're gonna be going onto the track for the very first time. We're gonna drive out, and this practice one will give us a bit of an indication on how the car feels like. One of the Alpha Towers just going past, as you saw briefly, and here we go. So, as you can see on the title, track acclimatization program will begin next lap, and this is one of the practice programs that we do to earn the resource points. So, resource points, how do you earn them? In the old F1 games, there was a whole bunch of practice programs that we had to do, like the acclimatization that we're doing now, the fuel and tyre management, ERS management, the qualifying run, and the race strategy program. Now we had to do all 6 of those within the 3 practice sessions to get the maximum resource points possible. But now we only get to do 3, and for each program there are 3 different objectives that they want the team to achieve during the program. And if you get all of them, then that will lead towards discounts for extra parts, because each objective will be towards a certain part in the certain will be on extra upgrades in different departments. And as you can see, we went purple to every single gate through the acclimatization, and no, that is no fluke. We actually did that on the very first try. Now we're going out to do the what was it, the tyre wear test, I think it was. Going out on mediums. I wanted to do a tyre wear test on softs, but I want to save them for later in the weekend, where we do a qualifying run after the race strategy program. So here we are for the tyre wear test. Managed to get past that relatively easy. I feel like I'm actually pretty good at saving the tyres, and as you can see, we're nowhere near the top as I expected. Hamilton fastest in P1, and as you can see, P19 on mediums, P16 for Christian. He might have been doing like a sprint run or a qualifying run, whereas us, we had the sandbags on. We didn't do a representative lap time, 1:31.5 I think it was. But now we're into Q2. This is something that I don't often do, and it's something that I don't want to do, because I like to get everything done in P1. But as you can see, nice corner car. We've got traffic interrupting our race strategy program. This is something that I wasn't particularly happy with, having to go down the inside of Mick Schumacher. Now we have to get past Tsunoda, but doing this is going to kill me during this run. As you can see, we are down by a 10. We actually gained a lot of that through that fast right-hander. Now focusing on getting a run out of this turn to get a run on Tsunoda, I've had to go into hot lap and overtake just to try and get past Tsunoda and pass this lap, or get this lap green to pass the team objective. We get past Tsunoda, look at the delta time just clawing down like crazy, but we get that done by a 10. Now while I do the race strategy program, I keep an eye on the average tyre wear for the lap. So the first lap was 5.45, 5.52 as you saw on the last lap, 0.44, 0.45 on that lap, and apparently they don't show it on the last lap, which I often don't care about. Now we're waiting for the end of the session. This is a bit of a qualifying program for us, even though there is no qualifying pace program, so we are going out to do it ourselves. And this is a good time to do it, you know, when it's dark. This is where we get the data that we get. So 7 tenths up, make it 8 tenths, and climbing. This is a part of the race track where I tend to struggle. I never really nailed that corner. Well, I did on that occasion. I'm hoping to do that in quali. Nice run and nice rotation through the last turn up to the line. Is going to be an improvement of 2.1 seconds. What is the time? It's a 1:21.8, and it gets us P3. Now bear in mind I did have the AI difficulty lowered, and I like to have it lowered in practice just so yeah, we'll get the maximum resource points possible. But I think I might be improving that for the next race in Spain. Christian, then this is the discounts that I was referring to. So if we pass the the objectives we do in that program, we get a discount on the pass for the next upgrades that we want to do. And that's something that I like. That's a new feature in this game. Now going back to Christian, good haul of resource points. So a very good start to your career, Christian. And I'm hoping that you can bring that into the team. So now we've got all the resource points that we need. It's time to go into practice. We're going to skip practice 3. And we're going to go into qualifying for our very first race of a brand new season. So here we go then for our very first run in qualifying. Now what I like to do is I like to wait until everybody does their lap in Q1, so I get to have the track all to myself, and so the track is rubbered in a little bit. I'm not sure how much that is going to help, because this is a very strong track for the AI, as you might hear a few times during this session. So now we are fast forwarding to the end of our first lap. Did not want to use the curb there, because that cost me a lot of time with having 2 wheels in the air. What is this lap? It's a 28.3, a couple of tenths off our first of our lap in P2, I should say. Now, saving up the battery or recharging the battery, now we're going to go out one more time and see what we could do, because sometimes the first lap I do isn't always great. So now I'm going to take you guys on this lap proper, braking into turn 1. Like to use the outside curve a little bit and get the fastest run through there possible. And as you can see, it has not worked out. We are a 10th down already. So the first run through there was better. Braking for turn 4. Better rotation through there. Nice run. But again, we've only gained half that. Through the chicane now, 6 and 7, or 5 and 6 I believe, into the hairpin. We actually are by a little bit. We thought I got a good exit, but apparently not. Braking for turn 10. As I may have said, this is my weakest corner on the track. Did not use that curb at all like I would have wanted. And we are a tenth and a half up. Probably would have been near enough to 2 tenths if I got that right. Braking for 11. Nice rotation through here. We gain a little bit of time through here, and we gain a little bit sideways through 12. Didn't quite get there like I would have wanted. As you can see, we are 4 tenths up on this lap, braking for 15, or for the last turn, and we are going to improve by how many? Just over 4 tenths. Where does it put us? Only P20. Only P20, as everybody comes out to start their lap. And in the end we are P21. A 27.95. That is the fastest lap of my weekend. Christian getting into Q2. Nice work, mate. Very nice work indeed. If you guys are wondering why we are so far behind, I'll explain why in just a moment, but not a good start to our season.
Tough luck there. It's not quite where we'd want to be on the grid, but chin up, it's not the end of the world.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Now, as I was saying, this is not a good track to start the year because the AI are pretty ridiculous around here. And I reckon that just sums it up there. Yeah, so we've got a lot of work to do, and I'm hoping that we can gain that all in the race. But now, let's see what we can do.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal. And it's make or break here at round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as we get another year of Formula One underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice. And they've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Perez, Lando Norris and Ricciardo, Vettel, Stroll, Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, Gasly, Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso and Ocon, Raikkonen, Lundgaard, George Russell and Mick Schumacher, Giovinazzi, Latifi, Skip and Nikita Mazepin. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out. Then let's see who can prevail today.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
And don't you let me down, Jeff. It's time for our very first race of our career mode journey. Today, we're going to be doing a one-stop, medium, going to start on medium and finish the race on hard. Really, I don't want to be doing a 2-stop today. Playing around a 3-stop on all stops would be nice, but apparently we have to use at least 2 compound of tyres. Okay, nah. Well, we're going to do a 1-stop mediums to hard. I want to do a 2-stop on softs to medium, two stints on softs, then a stint on mediums, but that is actually slower. So it's going to be a 1-stop, and it's going to be a lot easier for us. Hopefully our guys are on the ball. But here we go then for the formation lap, and this is where we warm up our tyres and everything, and get the engine warmed up, tyres warmed up, because they are going to be stone cold off the line if we don't do a formation lap. And you know what, I'm hoping with this one start we can get as near to the top 10 as possible. I would like to be very close to my teammate, but this start is going to depend how our race will go. Last few moments now, lining up on the grid. I don't have much to say really. So into our box, we've got Mazepin behind us, we've got Latifi, Giovinazzi and Mick Schumacher in front. It is 5 red lights. Where go in our very first race of the year. Seems like a good start actually. We get alongside Latifi, but we bottomed out in the second phase of the race. Mazepin gets past. How ballsy are we? Not too ballsy. We had to go around the outside. All 4 wheels on the curb. No warning for that, thank God. Although I do have the corner cutting rules on regular because, as I said, I'm not a pro at it. We get past Schumacher and Latifi. Mazepin has gone up to 18th. Big gap in front. We can brake as late as we want. Latifi right by our side. In fact, he's going to grab us before we get to this little chicane. And we've got Mick Schumacher. He goes right past us. What on earth? Dive bomb. Can we get Mazepin? No, not quite. Can we get the traction to stay in front of Raikkonen? No. That Alfa Romeo is so quick. And Latifi. Jesus power. And he's off the inside of Raikkonen. And we don't get the run like we would have wanted. And Schumacher gets us for P21. So at the end of our first lap, we're dead last. But hopefully we can turn that around with 28 laps to go. And it looks like we might be able to. We're going to do a dive bomb on Schumacher and Latifi. We've actually hit Latifi And maybe it was a little bit of front wing. We might need to get a replay on that. Here it is. We come from a long way back. We're one of the late breakers. And yes, shark bite on the front left end plate. You don't want to be doing that too many times. Otherwise, you may be coming in to the pit lane to change the wing. Not a great run out of here. That's actually my weakest point on the track. Going defensive on Schumacher. I don't want to be ending up last 2 laps in a row. And we've got the inside for this left-hander. We should be able to get the move done, which we should, or which we did. Going on board with Raikkonen now. He's having a lunge on the inside of Nikita Mazepin into turn 1. Gets that move done fairly cleanly. I'm hoping I can pull a few of those moves off myself. Lap 5 now, moving forward. Nothing really happened. Just trying to stay as close to Latifi as we can. Leave the curve. And again, we rear-ended him. I'm hoping that it hasn't done too much damage. Here's the replay. Slow-mo. Didn't quite use the turn, I should say, quite as likely, but we get around there. No damage on our wing. So now this is a phase where we sort of set into our race, set into our rhythm, and you know...
Okay, there appears to be an issue. We're currently investigating.
Oh no. Oh no. In this game, that is not what you want to hear from Jeff. If you hear that, it means something bad is going to happen. Please, Jeff, I told you, don't let me down. We're only on lap 6, we're about to start lap 7, please.
We can confirm that it's an issue with our engine.
No! On such a power track as well, and we could be shoving up a lunge on Latifi and Mazepin. But that is not what we want to hear. But the good news is, we are still in this race, which means we have to run with his engine problem for a little while. Down the inside of Latifi, I should say, Mazepin on the inside. It's 3 wide into the corner, and we get them both. Wow, what a move! And we're up to P19. What a move! With engine dramas that which have been told by Jeff. What dramas do we have? Absolutely nothing. That was absolutely insane. And now we're up to P17. That's because some of the front-running cars have made their first stop. Danny Rick, who's just come out behind us, he's on another set of softs. Well, actually, anyone who started on softs will be doing a 2-stop regardless of what tires they go to. And you can see Danny Rick on softs. He is super fast in that McLaren. That McLaren, he's got one of the best power units on the grid, and of course it's a Mercedes power car. Now we do get DRS on Danny Rick, and we had 2 green boxes, and I'm pretty sure he's just ruined it. Oh, well, almost ruined it. We still go green, but there's a bit of time to find out. Oh my god, now we're in a McLaren sandwich, and Norris thinks about nothing else. I left him the space because I didn't want to get turned around and have both of our races ended, but Danny Rick on softs, he was going to get away anyway. And now look at this, Lando up the inside. I didn't even know if he had DRS or not, but regardless, and are you serious? We've just made contact with our wing again, approaching our pit window. 47% on the front left, 47% after 10 laps. That is a little bit concerning. Now we've got the 2 Aston Martins behind us, and someone else. Stroll has a look up out inside, doesn't quite get it done. We'll have the right-hander, left-hander I should say, and squeeze him out a little bit further behind. So I think we should be okay for turn 4. Oh, he's thought about it. He's made contact and he's gone round. I did not expect that from Stroll. I'll get back into that in just a moment. Quick team radio.
We're trailing our teammate by 10.3 seconds. They're on old mediums. They're in 9th. The time last lap was a 1 minute 32.6.
Okay, I just wanted to do a quick check on how my teammates going. But seriously, I did not think that Stroll would even think about doing that move because I thought he was too far back. And now Vettel gets a ridiculous slipstream and he gets alongside and there's no point in fighting it. Now, as you can see, we've got front wing repair set to auto. I'm hoping that is not the case here. 1.9 seconds stop. CG Motorsport boys, get in there. 1.9 seconds stop. Good start to your careers in our team, boys. Lap 15 now. And now this is where we're going to be pushing on to the rest of the race. That's an Alpine that's going very slow. That's Fernando Alonso. And there goes his teammate. What is going on here? He's pulling over And it looks like he's retiring from the race with some sort of mechanical failure. There was no smoke coming out the back of that car, so it's not an engine. Weird mechanical failure of some sort. Anyway, moving forward now, and this is where we are pushing to the end of the race. We went green on that lap, not by much, as Perez makes his second stop, if I have to believe, if he's that far behind. So is this Ferrari of Carlos Sainz. I think it is! Oh, wow. Tried to get the move done on Russell, I believe, but now he's stuck in between 4 cars. It is Carlos Sainz, confirming with the driver number. As you can see, he's stuck in between 2 cars. So, how can he get away with not getting any front wing damage? I have no idea, but obviously he can do it, nor whereas I can't. As you can see, Perez, we came out, or we jumped him with the 1 stop, but he, of course, he is on a 2 stop and he just flies past us. And yet, that was pretty much the race for me. Yeah, I was pushing as much as I can to try and catch George Russell, who we are miles in front of the Williams. But as you guys can see, this track is a nice strong track for the AI. So this is not the start that we were hoping for. We're not going to be as close to our teammate as I was hoping to be, who is going to get mobbed up by Perez, I would imagine, at the end of the second sector now. As you can see, Perez right behind him. Christian's on a 1 stop, so he's got the strategy right, I reckon. Doing a 1 stop, you know, park the bus or push as hard as you can on the hards. He's going defensive into the last turn. Perez on mediums right around the outside. He's got the grip and he's got the car to do so. And he ends up getting DRS. Last lap now of the Grand Prix. Literally nothing happened in the second half. Valtteri Bottas sets the fastest lap and wins the Bahrain Grand Prix. Good on you, Valtteri. And Perez ended up getting past Russell and Raikkonen, who were in front of us. But for us, it's going to be P18, even with a 1 stop, even with a 1.9 second stop. I don't think we were going to score points anyway.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Thank you, Jeff. You couldn't have said anything any better. I totally agree with that. Charles Leclerc gets the driver of the day.
Yet another historic win under their belts. Well done to the team at Mercedes. Talk to me, Ants. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
Well, I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on the track was today: speed. I know it sounds like an obvious thing to say, Crofty, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot. A well-earned victory for Mercedes.
So there you have it. Our first race on the cards. Second race will be in Spain. But as you guys, by the time this video gets uploaded, Portugal has just been added into the game. But you guys might be wondering, Portugal and Imola were in the first couple of races in the real life season. So you think, why aren't they added yet? I have absolutely no clue, but Portugal is not the location that we're going to next, because we started the season before it got released. So Spain will be our next race. We are going to Spain in race number 2. That is something that you don't see or hear every day of the week. Christian into P14 at the end of the race. Not bad. Up a few places, or 1 or 2 places on a 1 stop. I don't think he could have really gone any faster. 2.7 second stop though, where they did a 1.9 for me. I'm not so sure what happened there, but 2.7 is a bit of an average stop, to be honest. And really, I don't think we could have gone any better. Maybe if we were aggressive into turn 1 and risk getting damage, I would not have done so. I would have just, take my time, get through as clean as I can. I'm hoping that at the start of the season we can move forward as much as we can, get the upgrades on the car, because when I did one whole season, in the first season of the career on my Xbox, I just had parts failing left, right and center. And there were parts that were going to be for good trucks as well. So I'm hoping that is not the case here in our career mode. So thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you stick around for the rest of our career mode journey. It wasn't a race that I was expecting like a high result. I was hoping to get as close to my teammate as I can. Beautiful move on the inside of both Mazepin and Latifi. But yeah, there was nothing I could have done. I feel like I gave it everything today, but the pace just wasn't there, you know. Yeah, that's all I've got to say. You know, we tried hard. I thought the lap times were competitive enough. Could it be the difficulty of the AI, maybe? We were racing on 100. I may bring it down by 1 click, but I don't guarantee that is going to happen. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. So smash that like button for this video. Until the next one, I'll see you next time.